Hello and welcome to the most popular F1 podcast in Glossop this week. I'm back. I've got two people with me this time. We've actually got as many hosts as there are corners at the Red Bull Ring, but it's still been a cracker. This is BFL.
Hello, yes, welcome to this week's review of the Austrian Grand Prix. For those of you who missed that, I did say Australian on take one, so we're sticking with Austrian this time. Yes, so welcome to the Austrian Grand Prix review. We have Phil and Phil. I don't know if they're going to sit this way on this recording, but they're here somewhere on the screens with me.
I don't know if that works.
Do that. Usher thing from, is it Jimmy Kimmel, where he's like pointing down and he's in the wrong screen or whatever he thinks he's in. Yes, so welcome to the Austrian Grand Prix review. I want to just start off because I'm gonna intercept George Russell corner, because I actually don't think you have grounds in which to do George Russell corner this weekend.
No, objected.
So I am going to, there was controversy in qualifying, so I'm going to quash that controversy right now and defend George Russell, because George Russell did absolutely nothing wrong. I am taking a fair view on this, so I can see Phil's reaction to this. However, so there is an image that is going to be on your screen right now. I will talk you through it. As you can see on the marker board as he enters into turn 8, there is a single yellow flag. All he has to do for a single yellow, as we know, is just lift off. It's a double waved yellow where you have to be prepared to stop. Single yellow as he comes out of that through into that little straight between the two final corners where the pit lane entry is. You can see on this image, it is a green flag, and he is allowed, of course, then to put his foot down back on the power. George, which I thought was fascinating if anyone saw before, coming just past the bull, just before sector 2, was 5.5 tenths quicker than Leclerc. Hence why, even with a lift off, he only managed to be 2 tenths quicker. So, in fairness to George, Antonelli lifted off and aborted the lap incorrectly. He didn't have to. Schoolboy error. We'll put that down to lack of experience. But I'm going to sing George Russell's praises, at least for qualifying for now, because fair play to him for being aware of what he had to do and still managing to get pole. Fair play to George Russell. This is George Russell Appreciation Corner.
I don't know if the viewers know, but obviously we have a WhatsApp group, and the only reason I was here was for George Russell Corner, and then you've just gone all CEO and squashed it from the start. So, bye bye.
Yeah, so thank you. I'd say that was the review. Couldn't see us next week. Yeah.
We have, although, in fairness, just quickly touching on the qualifying thing, and then we'll go on to the race, because the race is brilliant. But we have been screaming out for George Russell to do something that says he is world champion caliber. And I'm not saying that now means he's going to win the world championship or whatever, but that, for me, having that sort of reaction time and thinking it all through that quickly, saying that's a single yellow, I only have to lift off, next corner, it's green, straight back on the power. That is sort of, be fair, Phil. If Max Verstappen had done that, you'd be waxing lyrical, wouldn't you, about how good it was? So, God praise George for that.
If you watch him after qualifying on the Sky Pad with Anthony Davidson, he's very clever. I'll give him that. I will give him that. The way he reels off his head. I mean, you're right there with the reactions. It's frightening. It's scary how good he is there.
Yeah, and I just think, in fairness to him, we sang his praises last week because I thought he managed. We said things went against him, but he managed the race well. And again today, yesterday in qualifying, phenomenal that from George Russell. And that is the sort of thing. If he's going to win the world championship, we need to see it. Sorry, Phil, you surely want to criticise him.
No, I thought he was amazing all weekend.
He was. And
I've got nothing.
Just viewers away, you do know that's 2 weeks in a row, don't you?
I know.
Listen, I'll be at Silverstone. There won't be a single clap from me as he goes past, all right? I will make up for this.
Dave's going to be watching this thinking he's coming to a parallel universe later, isn't he?
This has just become about 6 TikToks, I think.
I'm going to find the biggest group of George Russell fans and do Russell Corner in front of them next week.
Yes, and you have to take a picture with them all.
Yes.
That's what we want. I know, but in fairness, so qualifying controversy out the way. For me, there is no controversy. Brilliantly done, brilliantly managed by George Russell. Now we move on to the race, and I just have one more thing to say. Because I have two things I wanted to say on this, and then I will stay quiet. One was the George Russell qualifying one. Two was Austria. Now you can throw all your money at Saudi Arabia and forcing us to have a track. You can throw all your money at Las Vegas because you want the glorious backdrop and all the rest of it. You can force these crap tracks down our throat, Formula One. But what you've got a circuit that in the last 100 years, the only thing they've done to it is put a big daft bull on one of the hills. That's all they've done. And it is still that's the best race this year, and it is still one of the best tracks we go around. It's got 3 corners. It takes 11 seconds to do an entire lap, which means the race lasts 468 laps. But every corner is an overtaking possibility. Every straight is a chance for someone to either bridge a gap or get away or whatever. That you cannot take your eyes off that race. And I think I actually looked because the title of our episode last year for the Austrian Grand Prix was simply "Thank You Austria," and just again, thank you Austria, because I just love this track so much.
But he says it all when you look at the smiles on our faces, doesn't it? How happy we are. Yeah. Proper race. That's what we want. That's all we want.
It's funny though, because I was always the first one to criticise that Red Bull aren't actually a Formula One team. They're just an overzealous sponsor with lots of money. All right. But it's things like this that start making you question it. Because firstly, Max Verstappen is one of the greatest talents of our generation and is there because of Red Bull money and his ability. But Red Bull funded his entire career to get him there. They're now making their own engines, again, with the help of Ford, who we said were going to be useless this year. And turns out they're the gold standard in engines. And they own that circuit that has just given us, again, we've questioned, is this the pinnacle of racing all season? Actually, today, yes, I think it is. I genuinely believe it is. And it's because, like you say, of these overtaking moves and these opportunities that they have. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, I know Max had a little bit of a... But how nice was that to see? And even as a Ferrari fan whose car seems to have gone a little bit backwards, but like the track was never going to suit the Ferrari. It's too down on power. But how incredible was it to see them two sticking wheel to wheel? And it wasn't just them two. The two Ferraris had a squabble. It's just, like you say, it was non-stop from go to the last lap. There was something happening.
It felt like the great equaliser, because they even said before the race that for today in general, we thought that the power of the big four, that the two that would be struggling most would be our collective two teams, so McLaren and Ferrari.
Yeah.
However, it was a bit of an equaliser because Hadjar didn't necessarily just get away from everybody. If that's true, then he should have been up there with Max. And, you know, there was a great battle as well with Piastri with the two Ferraris. I personally thought Ferrari managed that little bit wrong, where they should have let Hamilton through a little bit earlier on the Leclerc. But that, by the by. But again, it just seemed like every corner, even towards the very end, the fact that the top three finished 1.9 seconds between Russell in first and Antonelli in third. Like, we don't get that from many race tracks, if any, anymore. And I don't know whether it's the nature of it being uphill, downhill, and so small. I don't know. But just, again, a classic Formula One track. It was... So you touched on it there, Phil, because I do want to ask you this. You said Ferrari seems to have gone backwards. Are you purely putting that down to the fact that this isn't a Ferrari track, or do you think there's more to it than that?
I don't think there's more to it than that. I think they brought an engine, and it was a lot hotter there today than anyone gave credit for. You know, the fact that they had to go to TS mode or turtle slow mode or whatever you want to call it. They're clearly still working it out, and they're trying to rush these bits through to try and keep up with Mercedes. But if you look at all the teams this year, I think there's the very track specific wins or improvements. So, you know, McLaren were excellent in Canada.
Yeah.
But then they've dropped away by the wayside. And I'm not saying that anyone's out developing McLaren. I don't believe that any team is particularly out developing anyone. I just think it's so specific, and unfortunately, a track that's this small, 0.2 of a second is huge. So no, we'll see what Silverstone brings. I think before I start worrying or criticising Ferrari too much. But I just think a lot of the races so far have been track specific, barring the Mercs. But you even saw at Barcelona last week that they got turned over. You know, it's
You've praised George Russell and you're not criticising Ferrari. What are you? What's next?
Someone's coming, isn't there? The things coming. What's coming?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I'm worried.
In fact, there is a 3, but I'm going to save it for later on because I'll call out when I mean it. It's not. Listen, it's a first for this channel. Let's put it that way, okay? And
biblically, I mean, the Egyptians had to deal with more surprise with the locusts and the fires than we're having to deal with now.
I mean, all I'm saying, right? I don't know what to say.
Do it. Just do it now. Do it now. Go on.
But I'll give you a minute to compose yourself because other Phil, McLaren, it was better, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's nothing to write home about, don't get me wrong, but I think a fourth for Piastri.
Yeah.
I think the fact that one of them at least was able to go toe-to-toe with the Ferraris, I think is a massive plus. We want to be obviously talking about winning races, podiums and stuff, but to go toe-to-toe with both the Ferraris, and from Piastri's point of view to beat them both, I know Leclerc had problems and whatever, but I thought...
What are your thoughts on that man on the picture behind you at the moment?
Well, I know he had difficulty with the brakes, didn't he pre-race?
But do you not think pre-race, when he was doing his interview with Craig Slater, he just looked down?
I think Lando Norris is 100% at the moment got a I don't really care mentality.
Yeah, and he didn't look like the Lando of that. I mean, last year there were moments, weren't there, where you think, am I going to win it? Am I not going to? Is he not going to win it? Is he not? But I just felt like when watching him, his body language was just like real. It was really rubbish. I know
the time is coming though, and I think Lando knows this, and I think Oscar probably knows it too. The time is coming when McLaren will give up on this car. Not obviously the bigger package because these are the new regs and whatever.
There's no upgrades now on it now. Tools.
There's a minor upgrade for Silverstone. There's a minor one for Silverstone, but I don't think it'll be.
Is it after Zandvoort? Is it Zandvoort? Spa?
Yeah.
Zandvoort. So.
I just think, look, I think Lando is there's no pressure on him this year. He's already got that world championship. There's no pressure on him as a defending world champion because the regulations have just completely thrown that into disregard. We've touched on this in the past. So I think from Lando's point of view, it is a calmness, and he can be, you know, I agree.
McLaren fans, we don't want him going down as a bad world champion.
No, we don't. But I think at the same time, look, we know we haven't got a car that's capable of winning a race. And realistically, is there much point, considering how far away Mercedes are, considering Red Bull are bridging that gap, and considering Ferrari have been Red Bull's closest competitor, is there much point wasting too much wind tunnel time, wasting too much resources? I know I'm saying this quite early on in the season, but
doesn't your wind tunnel time get reduced if you win it?
It does, yeah. So if fourth place will give them more. If fourth place in the constructors, if that's where they're to finish, will give them more wind tunnel time for next season than Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. So
yeah.
Do they already start to think? Anyway, yeah. But I mean, look, fair play to McLaren. I actually thought this weekend was a much better showing from them, fourth and seventh.
Yeah,
the top three. Fair play. Kimi Antonelli, I just said, made a schoolboy error in qualifying yesterday, but I think he's more than made up for it in the race today, and especially that sort of late push to try and get Max, who was having a late push on George, who probably was having a late push in his race suit at fearing that first may have become third very, very quickly.
Yeah. If they wore a wolf or whatever it was in Miami, there was tiger stripes in Russell's underpants by the end of this race. All right.
Who's driver of the day? I know Sky, who F1 have given it to, or Sky have given it to, whatever. But who's driver of the day?
And this is where the first, ladies and gentlemen, and the ultimate shock, George Russell was driver of the day. Excuse me a minute. We need to move on because I'm feeling
I actually agree, but I did not think. I thought me and you would have an argument about this. I actually do agree. It's George Russell. Wow, Phil, who are you going for? I'm shocked. My acid trip of the day has to go for Liam Lawson, who for the opening 6 or 7 laps of the race told us his car was on fire, and it just wasn't.
It's either acid trip of the day, of course, is Liam Lawson's mystery fire that we all forgot about until Karoon said.
Yeah. Oh, he's not on fire.
Or
I loved Crofty's response when he went, he wasn't on fire anyway. I completely dismissed that.
So it's either Liam Lawson or Crofty's obsession with dangly carrots. Right?
You know, and when he went through the point about telling us all to eat our carrots, I was thinking, what's going on here?
Well, you should eat your carrots. Do you know why?
You should. But at the same time, the race was interesting enough to not deviate.
Eyesight. Good for your eyesight, carrots.
Until 5 a day. But yeah, no, I agree. One of those is that Crofty was drunk, Lawson was on acid. And I don't know.
Davidson telling you that if you put your hand on the track for 3 seconds, it will burn, and then counted to 4 before taking his hand off.
And then proceeded to show us a white hand on the TV screen when he was like, look how red it is. Yeah, it's not hand.
Look how burnt it is.
Yeah. But they're going, the biggest bombshell of the day.
Briatore being obnoxious on the grid.
The Cadillac engine.
No George Russell corner today.
I know.
And George's driver of the day.
It's getting refurbed ready for Silverstone Special.
Yeah. Phil's got to recharge the batteries for a big Silverstone push.
Phil, you've built it up here now. You've built it up now. Let me tell you. That's big.
So are we agreeing that we actually all think that George Russell was driver of the day? Yeah. I genuinely do. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
I think he probably did the least in the race.
To be fair, though, it's very close between him and Max. I mean, Max was phenomenal, and that car looks a lot nicer to drive all of a sudden.
Yeah. In fairness, I agree, and I think George had sort of a Max day today. You know how many times have we watched F1 and we've just not focused on Max Verstappen whatsoever, really? George kind of, to a degree, had like a sort of one of them, and I think he just managed it really well. No matter what was thrown at him, I think he managed it quite well. And it's probably the second week in a row where we've not either criticised him for whinging or maybe, do you know what? George Russell is our 72nd subscriber because it doesn't tell me who it is, so it's private. So I think it's George Russell, and he's watching us, and he's listening to our advice, and he's stopped the whinging, and he's going to go on and win the World Championship, and we are responsible. That's my bold statement of the day.
We are big fans of you here at VR. We love you.
That's me not sleeping.
He loves the tough love, and he agrees with us. So welcome, George, to the channel if indeed that is what it is. I assume my theory is well off, but I'm just going to go with it anyway. Ant v Phil was the mad push for 15th place, of course, this weekend. And as you can see by the celebrations, Phil has now taken the lead 4-3 because he said Ocon, who finished 16th, and I said Bortoletto, who did the best race of his season and finished 11th. So thank you for that, Gabby. You've been absolutely dollops all season, and the one time I predict you to be dollops, you decide I might try and get a point today. So thank you, Gabby, for ruining that for me. As we have a guest, we're going to go for Silverstone. And Phil, you give us a random sort of thing we've got to go for, and me and Phil predict who we think. So what are you going for, Phil? I actually had an interesting one if Phil can't think of one.
Who's going to finish on a podium?
Who's going to? Do we have to guess all three?
We have to guess all three.
That's good.
All three. I want specific order. 1, 2, 3, not just drivers. Who's going to win it? Who's going to come second? Who's going to come third?
Okay. Can we alternate? I'll go for my winner.
Okay. Go on then.
Max.
Kimi.
Okay, I'll go for my second place. Will be George.
No.
Lewis.
And my third place will be Lewis.
I think Lewis will bring it back next week.
So
listen, McLaren fan aside, I hope Lewis brings it out the bag next week.
Yeah,
because
I don't.
That place when Lewis wins special.
Last time you get invited, Phil.
Phil, go away.
CEO again.
So to confirm, then I'm going to go for Max Verstappen to win, George Russell to come second, Lewis Hamilton to come third. Phil, you're going for?
I can't remember now. Kimi, Lewis, George.
Right. Okay. So that is our predictions for our Silverstone podium. Speaking of Silverstone, because of course it is the British Grand Prix next week. It's back, and unfortunately, only 33% of the VFL family will be at Silverstone this year, and only for 33%
Can I
of
just
it. So
make one little comment on that? And we might have spoke about it before, but it really does infuriate me. Now, if he's watching, what's his name, Mr. Pringle, Mr. Owner of Silverstone, if he's watching,
I thought you meant me.
No, you like the Pringle man, yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought you meant.
Right, Stuart Pringle is his name. I'm going to call you out on the number one F1 podcast of the world right now. Start making Silverstone weekend about racing, because you are outpricing people and stopping them from going. This weekend so far, I have seen, so flicking through social media, I am now receiving, so for somebody who works in that sort of line of work, sponsored adverts across social. I won't bore you, but I am now seeing sponsored adverts for social media for Silverstone for next weekend, because as it stands, it is not sold out. And there is a reason it's not sold out. It's because it's too bloody expensive.
Yeah.
Regular working class people like myself who love Silverstone is a special place. I had my honeymoon there. It's incredible, but it is too expensive. So let's start making it more about the racing and not about big celebrity wages that you've got to pay. Friday night, I think you've got Rudimental playing. Saturday night, you've got Chase and State. I love Chase and Status, but they're playing Saturday night. I think I heard Ed Sheeran's popped up at someone. So these big name people have got to be paid. They ain't going to be doing it for free. Start making it about the racing. Sorry.
I'll pick up. Thanks, Phil, because one of us will be there. And
yeah, money bags.
And I'll go in. Also to point out, also working class, but to follow up, completely agree with everything you say. And it is the first time in a long time that we haven't done the 3 days because of cost. But I don't think it's purely Silverstone's fault. Just to defend, I agree with every statement you've made.
Okay.
The government argument.
I was going to say Silverstone is one of the only circuits on the Formula 1 calendar that is not supplemented or funded by the government.
Or the royal family.
Or the royal... I mean...
Okay. Yeah.
If he's going to be spending 50 odd million, then what's going on? Get yourself down there, Charlie.
In fairness, Charlie Boy did have to spend £13 million on tax last year. He did decide to tell us that this week because we all feel so sorry for him. Let's ignore the inheritance of billions that he got from his mum dying, but never mind. Anyway, that's beside the point.
You guys more than me who have been going consistently for the last 10 to 15 years.
Plus, but yeah.
Must have seen the pricing.
Oh yeah.
And I appreciate things are expensive. I appreciate the world we're in now, and I do appreciate. But real fans are being punished because they can't go.
No, I agree. And to be fair, this is the first year that not only am I not going, that I haven't actually regretted that decision to not go. Just purely for financial reasons. If we went for the full 3 days, I'd love every single second of it, as you do. But for financial reasons, I don't regret my decision. So yeah. But anyway,
but it is the cost of the week to Italy. So I mean, let's be honest. Not to dig out Charles, he's probably been having to pay solicitor bills for. We're not allowed to go on about that, his brother.
No, God, no. But someone has still got to pay his subscriptions.
And that, I'm afraid, is the end of VFL.
Yes, so join us next week for forever. Join us next week when we'll be in court. No, join us next week. So we are going to try to do a little bit of a special. So Phil will be in Silverstone. Me and Phil in will not. So next week, Phil will give us some footage from before and around the circuit, obviously pre-race, and then post-race, you will have the review of the Grand Prix from me, maybe Phil will join us, maybe whatever. We'll figure that out all in the week. But we will
just the Sunday.
So we will be here to review the British Grand Prix, of course, next weekend. Formula One comes home next weekend, and unfortunately, no one can afford to go. But never mind. That is it for this week. Thank you for...
The home has been repossessed. Sorry, that was a really nice ending, so go.
Yes, so thank you very much for joining us this week. Long live the Austrian Grand Prix. It was absolutely phenomenal. Congratulations to George Russell, takes another step towards Antonelli, and a fantastic weekend. And McLaren's beat Ferraris. Yay! Bye now!
Why then?